By the morning of September 3rd, 1939, Europe was already at war in practice. Cities had been bombed, civilians killed, and armies were advancing across borders. Yet officially, nothing had been declared. Violence was real. Recognition was not. For 2 days, governments debated while fighting continued. Ultimatums were drafted, messages exchanged, and time passed. Every hour without a declaration widened the gap between what was happening on the ground and what leaders were willing to admit publicly. Early on September the 3rd, Britain delivered an ultimatum to Germany. It demanded the immediate withdrawal of German forces from Poland. The message was clear, but it carried an unspoken truth. Compliance was no longer expected. Germany did not respond. As the deadline passed, the final barrier between diplomacy and open war disappeared. The decision now was not whether war existed, but whether it would be formally acknowledged. At 11:15 in the morning, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain addressed the nation by radio. His voice was calm, restrained, and heavy with resignation. He informed the public that Britain was now at war with Germany. By the time those words were spoken, the war was already 3 days old. The declaration did not begin the conflict. It merely confirmed what soldiers, civilians, and victims already knew through experience rather than speech. Later that same day, France issued its own declaration of war. The alliance commitments made years earlier were finally activated. What had begun as a regional invasion now carried the weight of a European conflict. Across Britain and France, citizens listened in silence. There were no celebrations, no cheers, only understanding. For many, the declaration did not bring surprise. It brought clarity to something that could no longer be denied. The declarations issued, World War II entered a new phase. The fighting did not change that day. The bombing did not pause. What changed was perception. The war now existed not only in reality, but in law and language. Between violence and declaration mattered. During those days, people died without the protections or clarity that formal war was supposed to provide. The gap between action and acknowledgement carried real human cost. The declarations did not slow the invasion of Poland. They did not protect civilians already under attack. They served a different purpose: to mark responsibility, commitment, and the abandonment of any remaining illusion of peace. World War II did not begin when war was declared. It was declared because it had already begun. The words came last, long after the moment when turning back was no longer possible.